In January 2025, a huge iceberg the size of Chicago, called A84, broke off from Antarctica's George VI ice shelf.
Imagine uncovering a vast, hidden world beneath 500 feet of ice, a place untouched by sunlight for 500 years, suddenly exposed when a colossal iceberg the size of Chicago breaks free. What scientists found there defies everything we thought we knew about life's limits, with giant sponges, glowing jellyfish, and thriving ecosystems that should be impossible. Could this discovery rewrite the rules of biology on Earth and beyond? If life can flourish in Antarctica's frozen darkness, what might be lurking beneath the icy oceans of distant moons like Jupiter's Europa? The birth of Iceberg, A84. On the crisp morning of January 31st, 2025, a dramatic event unfolded at the edge of the Antarctic Peninsula. An iceberg the size of Chicago suddenly broke free from a centuries-old ice shelf. This was no ordinary iceberg calving. It was the rupture of a massive section, labeled A84, that peeled away from the George VI ice shelf. Spanning roughly 209 square miles, it exposed an underwater landscape that had been locked beneath 500 feet of ice for over 500 years. For the first time in history, scientists had an unprecedented window directly into a seafloor long hidden from the world. Satellites had long tracked subtle, almost invisible changes to the ice shelf. Slowly thinning at nearly half a meter per year, the shelf was losing its grip as warmer ocean currents shifted beneath. But no one anticipated how sudden and definitive the break would be. When the fracture ruptured, it wasn't just a crack, it was a tear that opened a vast cavity, revealing a frozen world previously untouched by sunlight or open water for half a millennium. This moment signaled the end of an era and the beginning of an extraordinary discovery.
On top of our usual kayaking gear, we have a lot of specialist equipment for this task.
As the iceberg drifted free, a unique ecosystem was unveiled. Fresh water from the melting ice began to pour into the exposed cavity, diluting the salty ocean, shifting currents, and stirring nutrients that hadn't moved in centuries. This dynamic transformation set off a cascade of changes, altering both the physical and chemical makeup of the environment. Each hour brought new variations, making the exposed seafloor a fragile and rapidly evolving habitat. The urgency for scientists was undeniable. This was a one-time window to explore a lost ecosystem before it changed irreversibly. Every sample taken, every image captured, would be a fleeting glimpse into a habitat shut away since before the modern age. The delicate balance of ice, water, and life was breaking down, and researchers knew they had only days to collect the evidence that might rewrite biological understanding. The scale of the iceberg and the newly exposed seafloor was staggering. The 209 square miles revealed was larger than many cities and had been hidden in darkness for generations. There was a haunting beauty in this vast, cold excavation where life had thrived out of sight. Yet, it also posed questions with no easy answers. What kind of life could persist in such isolation for so long? And what secrets would the seafloor reveal once cameras and sensors were deployed? The exposed area was more than a scientific curiosity. It was a relic frozen in time, waiting to tell the story of survival far removed from sunlight or surface ecosystems. The conditions below the ice had been static for centuries, making this an ecological time capsule. Scientists prepared to uncover not only who lived there, but how life endured under near-total darkness and isolation. This immense rupture challenged assumptions about Antarctica's frozen waters as barren and lifeless. Instead, it promised a glimpse into a complex, unseen world beneath the ice. The sheer size and duration of seal-off made the location a natural laboratory for studying life on the edge. What was beneath wasn't a dead zone. It was potentially a thriving ecosystem, teetering on the brink of exposure and change. The birth of Iceberg, A84, was a geological event with ripples far beyond ice and ocean currents. It was the opening act to a discovery that could challenge everything known about biology in Earth's most extreme environments.
Countless new discoveries are made that bring us a few steps closer to understanding this remarkable environment.
This vast, torn ice giant had uncovered a secret that would soon captivate and astonish the global scientific community. This massive unveiling triggered an urgent race as researchers scrambled to be the first to witness and record the fragile ecosystem exposed after centuries of darkness. Race against time. With the iceberg's calving revealed, an unprecedented scientific expedition swung into motion. The research vessel Phalor, stationed nearby in the Southern Ocean,
Dr. Jyotika Vermani is the executive director of the Schmidt Ocean Institute,
was rerouted immediately toward the newly formed opening. On board, Dr. Patricia Eska, an expert dubbed the Ice Whisperer, took command of a high-stakes mission to gather data and samples before this rare habitat vanished beneath shifting ice and currents. International agencies moved rapidly, recognizing the significance of this opportunity. The British Antarctic Territory granted a rare permit, coded SSP-202507, allowing just 10 days of unrestricted access to the seafloor. This narrow window tasked the crew to work efficiently against the clock, rushing to map, film, and collect biological specimens from a site never before explored. The National Science Foundation's Office of Polar Programs approved a multi-million-dollar emergency grant.
For over a century, scientists had very limited options when it came to sampling the creatures of the deep. Historically,
To remove bureaucratic hurdles. Time was already slipping away, and every delay meant lost data from a habitat in flux. Meanwhile, logistical teams in Punta Arenas, Chile, expedited shipping manifests and supplies, streamlining the daunting task of getting gear onto the icebreaker-escorted research ship. The Chilean Navy deployed an icebreaker to create a safe passage through moving pack ice, which allowed Phalor to navigate into previously uncharted waters. The team quickly loaded supplies while they tested satellite communications and prepared to launch the remotely operated vehicle, ROV Sebastian, for its upcoming historical dives. Sebastian operated at a depth of 4,500 meters to provide visual and analytical capabilities which allowed researchers to observe conditions below the ice. The communication lines above experienced an urgent operational state. Working together, scientists, engineers, and crew members understood that they had to succeed in their mission. The Antarctic environment required absolute accuracy because it did not permit any mistakes. The mission's outcome depended on every choice made during the 13-week period, which would lead to discovering a prehistoric ecosystem.
but more important than any amount of footage is the innovation and technology behind the lens.
When the ship advanced through the broken ice, all anxiety transformed into complete determination. The team established scientific equipment, constructed sampling devices, and held discussions about operational procedures and safety protocols. The crew encountered extreme weather conditions together with unpredictable challenges. The team worked together to achieve their goal, which generated motivation among them to succeed in their mission. The modern advancement of polar science and technological development, together with institutional coordination, made this speedy deployment possible. Exploration no longer faced restrictions which limited researchers to studying surface areas and conducting short-term research. Teams possessed the capability to extract detailed knowledge from the ancient ice, which had accumulated over many years. The modern research field reached its present level of development because it shows how urgent research needs interact with scientific research needs. The Antarctic race against time demonstrated how delicate the newly uncovered ecosystems of Antarctica had become. The environmental conditions changed every hour because of variations in ocean currents and temperature levels and salinity measurements. Researchers needed to complete their tasks before the concealed ecosystem lost its stable condition, which would make subsequent research impossible to conduct. The countdown shortened as the first dive into this newly uncovered abyss approached, ready to reveal images no one expected to see beneath such an ancient, dark expanse. First glimpse beneath the ice. As Sebastian's cameras descended toward the freshly exposed seafloor, a moment of palpable tension gripped the control room. Suddenly, alarms blared. The ROV suffered a critical fault. A 5-volt drop on the main power bus froze every thruster. In these fragile Antarctic waters, any mechanical failure could end the mission and seal away the ecosystem forever.
My name is Paul Abrahamson. I'm an oceanographer at the British Antarctic Survey. At the moment, I'm on Royal Research Ship James Cook.
The engineering team scanned telemetry screens in tight silence, eyes tracing error flags multiplying across monitors. Corrosion on a copper tin bus bar, probably from a small crack exposed to salty spray, had triggered the shutdown. With nothing but seconds to act, pilot Mateo Reanguel stayed calm, calling for a manual bypass. His team cut the primary power feed and spliced in a 2-meter jumper cable from the ship's redundant switchboard. Hands moved swiftly, crimping, insulating, and securing the emergency line. 90 intense seconds ticked by, each stretching like an eternity. Finally, with a decisive twist, power snapped back to normal. Sebastian's thrusters roared to life, and nervously the control room erupted into applause and relieved laughter.
The development of remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs.
The crisis was averted, but the fragility of the mission lingered as a stark reminder. One misstep could mean losing history's first look at a hidden world. Once back online, the cameras swept across the seabed, shattering expectations. Instead of barren mud and rock, the monitors filled with vivid scenes. Immense sponges soaring nearly 2 meters high, their pale forms clustered like ancient ruins. Tiny shrimp darted in and out of folds. Brittle stars clung to spongy towers, while slow-moving ice fish wove gracefully through shadowed spaces. The landscape was alive with thriving corals extending over the seafloor, branches tangled into brilliant thickets that provided shelter for entire fish schools. A ghostly, pale octopus unfurled its arms, pulsing with slow bursts of bioluminescence, as if greeting a sunless world for the first time in centuries. Descending deeper, a translucent jellyfish emerged from the dark waters, its enormous bell pulsing with a soft blue glow. Tentacles trailing 10 meters behind it, the creature drifted silently, casting eerie shadows over the coral below. The control room fell utterly silent, captivated by life that defied known oceanic norms. Shock steadily transformed into wonder as more frames appeared, revealing ice fish with antifreeze blood, sponges coated in dense bacterial mats, and vast communities thriving in complete darkness. This wasn't a fossilized graveyard, but a vibrant, interconnected living world, one that defied the limits set by deep-sea biology textbooks. The first glimpse beneath the iceberg. A84 was no less than a scientific revelation. Life had not only survived, but flourished in isolation for half a millennium, hidden beneath a fortress of ice. It posed profound questions. What mechanisms allowed this ecosystem to endure? And what might this mean for life beyond Earth's familiar environments? The mysteries uncovered by that first dive would soon lead scientists to explore the chemistry sustaining life in this frozen, sunless world. Unexpected life forms. As the remotely operated vehicle, Sebastian delved deeper into the newly revealed waters beneath Iceberg. 84.
We're here to study the effect of the iceberg on the ocean and ecosystem around South Georgia.
The research team encountered sights that defied all prior expectations. Instead of the barren, lifeless wasteland they had braced for, the seabed came alive with giant sponges reaching nearly 3 feet tall, clustered like ancient pillars in the dim underwater gloom. These pale, towering structures offered shelter to countless tiny shrimp darting among their folds, and brittle stars clinging tightly to the spongy towers. evidence of a vibrant microhabitat in what was thought to be an inhospitable abyss. The sponges were only the beginning of an ecological revelation. Nearby, forests of deep-sea coral stretched across the landscape, their tangled branches glowing faintly in the blue haze. Many of these coral colonies dated back centuries, having grown dense enough to form thickets that provided refuge for entire schools of slow-moving fish. This underwater garden, long deprived of sunlight, was teeming with life, each organism adapted to survive in complete darkness and bitter cold. Among these remarkable creatures, a ghostly, pale octopus appeared, unfurling its arms with slow, graceful movements. Its bioluminescent pulses flickered gently in the dark waters, as if communicating in a language unknown to surface life. The octopus's presence highlighted the unexpected complexity of this ecosystem, hinting at sophisticated behaviors and adaptations developed under centuries of isolation and limited resources. Further exploration revealed a phantom jellyfish drifting through the depths, unlike any seen before. Its translucent bell pulsed softly with a bluish glow, while tentacles stretched out for 10 meters behind it, weaving eerie shadows over the coral below. This enormous gelatinous creature moved with a hypnotic grace, completely unbound by the usual rules governing ocean life, capturing the room's attention and silencing the onlookers with sheer wonder.
It's really awesome to work within the ROV team. They all have so much experience, both in the commercial world and the scientific world.
The ecosystem showed exceptional development beyond the charismatic megafauna. Icefish use their antifreeze-producing proteins to swim through frigid waters because they could handle extreme cold. The sponges and coral were covered by bacterial mats, which created intricate microbial ecosystems that formed essential systems to maintain the isolated ecological network. Scientists found it incredible that the ecosystem maintained itself without sunlight or surface resources during its extended existence. The frozen darkness has proven to be a viable habitat for life because of its numerous species, which have developed specialized survival methods. People have demonstrated their ability to live and thrive under conditions which scientific experts considered to be unlivable. The ecosystem which exists under iceberg A84 represents a dynamic ecological network which supports species that have developed to survive extreme conditions. Each discovery showed scientists new biological information which proved that organisms in dead or deserted areas can survive through adaptive mechanisms and intricate biological systems. The life forms which exist under the ice require scientists to research the unique energy sources which sustain their existence. What provided energy for this place which existed in permanent darkness? The frozen ocean concealed its answer, which consisted of remarkable chemical reactions that took place underneath the ice. The secrets of survival in this sunless, frozen realm soon led researchers to investigate the remarkable chemistry fueling the hidden ecosystem. Chemistry of a frozen ecosystem. Beneath the shattered ice, researchers initially expected to find a dead zone, dark, devoid of sunlight, with no hydrothermal vents or external energy sources. Instead, their chemical sensors reported surprisingly high hydrogen concentrations, ranging from 10 to 30 micromoles per liter, levels far above any predictions for such an isolated and sealed environment. This anomaly suggested a hidden source of energy that could support complex life independent of sunlight. Biochemists aboard the Phalor soon connected the dots. Hydrogen was being produced through radiolysis, a process where cosmic rays and natural radioactivity bombarded water molecules within the ice, splitting them apart. This chemical reaction, previously thought to be a minor trickle, was actually generating enough hydrogen to fuel a thriving ecosystem. The ice itself became a generator, splitting water and sustaining life in complete darkness. Radiolysis provided a steady, reliable supply of hydrogen over centuries. This allowed microbial life forms to harness chemical energy directly, bypassing the need for photosynthesis altogether. Intricate microbial mats coated every surface in the ecosystem, acting as living batteries that powered the food web from the ground up. These microbes formed the foundation upon which larger organisms, sponges, corals, fish, and jellyfish depended. Tissue samples from some of the giant sponges and corals, later dated by accelerator mass spectrometry, confirmed that these animals and their bacterial partners had survived in isolation for more than 5 centuries. Together, they formed a symbiotic relationship, relying on the steady chemical energy supplied by radiolysis rather than sunlight or external nutrients. Genetic sequencing further deepened the understanding of survival strategies in these harsh conditions. The presence of Hyde genes, which encode hydrogenase enzymes, revealed how microbes harvested hydrogen as an energy source. This molecular blueprint illuminated a complex adaptation, allowing life to thrive in one of Earth's most extreme and disconnected environments. The discovery rewrote fundamental assumptions about life's energy sources and ecological dynamics. It showed that when sunlight is absent, other geochemical processes could sustain diverse, complex ecosystems over long periods. This had profound implications not only for Earth's biology, but also for the possibilities of life elsewhere in the solar system. NASA and international space agencies took notice. The chemical blueprint uncovered beneath the Antarctic ice has informed the design of sensors and systems used in missions such as the Europa Clipper, which launched in 2024.
Europa Clipper is the largest spacecraft NASA has ever built for a planetary mission.
These technologies aim to detect similar chemical processes beneath the crusts of moons, searching for life's signatures. Radiolysis-powered ecosystems suggest that the frozen oceans of moons like Europa and Enceladus might be teeming with life, energized by radiation-induced chemistry rather than sunlight. Antarctica's hidden world thus offers a compelling real-world analog, demonstrating that life's boundaries are far wider than previously imagined. Understanding this chemistry not only expands the search for extraterrestrial life, but also transforms how we view the resilience and adaptability of life on Earth, thriving quietly where darkness and isolation once seemed absolute. Genetic insights into adaptation. Delving deeper into the mystery of how life sustains itself beneath such crushing ice and darkness, genetic analyses began to reveal the hidden toolkit these organisms employ. Scientists discovered a suite of genes responsible for producing hydrogenase enzymes, molecular machines that allow microbes to capture energy directly from hydrogen. These adaptations were crucial for survival in an environment completely cut off from sunlight.
But if there's a huge ice cap above, sunlight can't get through, so no plants can grow there.
Relying instead on chemical energy sources. This genetic blueprint painted a vivid picture of life finely tuned to extreme isolation and limited resources. The presence of hydrogenase genes showed that microbes in this ecosystem had evolved specialized metabolisms, enabling them to exploit radiolysis, the breaking apart of water molecules by radiation, as a reliable energy source. This was a striking example of life expanding the boundaries of known biology, finding ways to thrive where energy seemed scarce. Every microbial community formed the base of an otherwise complex food web, feeding sponges, corals, and even larger animals in a delicate balance maintained for centuries. Genetic sequencing also uncovered diversity among the microbial populations, each group with unique biochemical pathways adapted to convert hydrogen and sulfide into energy. These distinct metabolic strategies highlighted how life had diversified even in such a tightly contained world. It was a testament to evolution's power, giving rise to specialized life forms perfectly matched to local conditions beneath the Antarctic ice. Moreover, researchers found genetic markers associated with resistance to cold and pressure, explaining how organisms could endure the harsh physical environment. Proteins, adapted to function in near-freezing temperatures, preserved cellular integrity, while membranes maintained flexibility under immense water pressure. These molecular features reinforce the idea that life on Earth operates across far wider environmental extremes than previously thought. The research of genetic adaptations demonstrated how ecosystems maintain their stability during periods which last for 200 years without receiving sunlight. The deep biosphere used its biochemical capabilities to create energy which maintained its existence, unlike surface life which needs sunlight for photosynthetic energy. The scientific world received a paradigm shift which proved that ecosystems without light depend completely on stubbornness and endurance which lasted through ages. The biological field received major impacts from these findings. The study of genetic adaptations shows how Earth endures climate change along with extreme environmental conditions. The research expands our understanding of survival tactics, which have been discovered through various studies that examined hydrothermal vents and subterranean caves, which maintain contact with external energy sources. Scientists unlocked alien life detection methods through the decoding of genetic material found in DNA. Antarctic scientists discovered enzymes and molecular pathways which provide essential information about biosignature patterns that appear on icy moons and distant planets. The new research explains how different life forms will operate on planets which scientists previously deemed to have no sustainable energy sources. The genetic discoveries demonstrate how living organisms adapt their biological systems to different situations. Organisms developed evolutionary mechanisms which enable them to create complete biological systems in environments without light and sound, which operate through unseen energy and chemical processes. The complete gene sequencing process creates a new section for the continuous battle of life on the remote regions of Earth. The team constructed a genetic puzzle which allowed them to discover life exists outside Antarctica at places which share chemical energy sources with Antarctica. The extraordinary genetic adaptations beneath the ice brought the searchlight to cosmic horizons, where similar ecosystems might flourish in the frozen oceans of distant moons. Cosmic implications for life. The discovery of a thriving, chemically powered ecosystem beneath Antarctica's A84 Iceberg sparked a re-evaluation of where life can exist not just on Earth, but across the cosmos. If complex organisms can flourish for centuries in perpetual darkness, cut off from sunlight and surface nutrients, then icy moons like Jupiter's Europa or Saturn's Enceladus might harbor similar hidden worlds beneath their frozen crusts. This Antarctic breakthrough offered a tangible real-world example shaping astrobiology and planetary exploration. Life beneath Europa's ice, constantly bombarded by Jupiter's powerful radiation, might harness radiolysis, just as microbes do here on Earth, using chemically derived hydrogen as fuel. The parallels are striking. Both environments share extreme cold, high pressure, darkness, and isolation. Antarctica's ecosystem became a blueprint for imagining what alien biology might look like, an ecosystem fueled not by sun, but by radiation interacting with water and minerals. NASA's upcoming Europa Clipper mission, scheduled for launch in 2027, directly draws from these Antarctic insights. The spacecraft is equipped with hydrogen sensors and redundant power systems designed based on technologies tested during this expedition. These instruments aim to detect chemical signatures indicative of life, such as hydrogen production, within Europa's subsurface ocean. Antarctica's hidden biosphere validated the possibility that such energetic chemical processes could sustain ecosystems far from sunlight. The impact of this discovery extends beyond individual missions. It broadens scientific perspectives on habitable zones, no longer restricted to Earth-like surface conditions. Worlds once dismissed as barren may instead be promising habitats if chemical energy sources are abundant. This shifts the cosmic search from a narrow focus on liquid water and sunlight to include environments energized by chemistry and radiation, balanced over geological time. These revelations also challenge deep questions about life's origins and distribution in the universe. If life can adapt to thrive beneath kilometers of ice using molecular hydrogen, this means the galaxy may harbor countless subsurface oceans teeming with microbial life. It makes the universe more alive, more connected, and far more diverse than previously imagined. Planetary scientists began incorporating Antarctic ecological data into models of extraterrestrial ocean worlds, simulating potential ecosystems sustained by radiolysis and chemosynthesis. These models provide critical guidance for future probes, helping prioritize landing sites and sampling strategies to maximize chances of detecting life. The discovery ignited collaboration across disciplines. Microbiologists, chemists, planetary geologists, and engineers all brought expertise to characterize this Antarctic analog. The realization that Earth's frozen ocean floors could mirror alien habitats forged new pathways for interdisciplinary planetary research. Ultimately, the thriving ecosystem beneath iceberg A84 does more than expand our understanding of Earth's biosphere. It rewrites the cosmic narrative of habitability, proof that life's tenacity transcends sunlight and the surface, reaching into the darkest, coldest corners of worlds near and far. This discovery pulls back the veil on possible alien ecosystems, igniting hope and guiding humanity's quest to answer one of the oldest questions: are we alone? The future of exploration. The astonishing discovery beneath Antarctica's A84 Iceberg has set the stage for a new era of exploration, one that stretches far beyond our planet. Scientists and engineers are now designing missions to probe icy worlds in our solar system using the lessons learned from this frozen ecosystem. Technology developed to explore the Antarctic depths, such as advanced remotely operated vehicles, radiation-hardened sensors, and hydrogen detectors, serves as a direct blueprint for exploring places like Europa and Enceladus. Satellite missions like the Europa Clipper, launching soon, carry instruments modeled to detect chemical signatures inspired by Earth's Antarctic ecosystem. These include sensitive hydrogen sensors and tools designed to discern the subtle feedback from life-supporting chemical reactions beneath thick ice. These missions represent humanity's best hope of confirming whether similar radiant-driven life exists elsewhere, shifting from theoretical speculation to tangible exploration. The expedition's technological innovations also emphasize redundancy and resilience, critical for survival in extreme and unpredictable environments. Failsafes developed to keep the Romanian-built Sebastian RO-5 operational after power failures are now standard in spacecraft systems intended for harsh alien worlds. Every system on board these probes reflects hard lessons learned from fragile Antarctic operations, ensuring that no small glitch will shut down the search for signs of life. Collaboration across international space agencies and scientific communities has rapidly increased. Data-sharing agreements and joint mission planning now consider Earth's polar research as a vital analog. The unexpected richness of life beneath the A84 iceberg provided credibility and urgency to fund deeper investigations of ocean worlds, with more missions already in conceptual stages aiming to study ice-covered planets and moons within our cosmic neighborhood. Back on Earth, polar scientists continue to push the envelope of deep-sea and subglacial exploration. Autonomous underwater vehicles with enhanced power and propulsion systems are being developed to access even more remote regions beneath thick ice sheets. These advances promise more comprehensive studies of these hidden ecosystems, expanding our understanding not only of life on Earth, but of the possibilities beyond. The research conducted under the A84 Iceberg demonstrates that emergency response capabilities and fast scientific field deployments hold significant worth for scientific research purposes. The Antarctic expedition developed a new operational method, which enables future space missions to achieve better results through their operational readiness. The research shows that scientists need to maintain both preparedness and flexibility, because they must study delicate ecosystems which appear unexpectedly and remain accessible for short time periods. Public and private partnerships are playing an increasing role in funding and developing new technologies based on Antarctic research. The ecosystems developed by these companies enable their robotics and deep-water communication and remote sensing technologies to solve environmental problems which affect ocean exploration and planetary science. The different sectors of the economy show strong interest, which helps to create new ideas that improve mission readiness for future explorations. Scientific research progresses through Earth exploration, which leads researchers to explore space. Antarctica's concealed ecosystems demonstrate that life exists beyond known boundaries, while they push researchers to develop new methods for exploration. Humans who once looked at stars now explore both the dark depths of oceans and the distant extraterrestrial oceans that exist underneath ice, which extends thousands of miles from Earth. This developing quest shows that living things across all environments share the same fundamental ability to adapt and thrive in various conditions. The development of missions and technologies based on Antarctica's research will bring humanity closer to understanding whether life exists beyond Earth and what Earth's uncharted territories reveal about this extraterrestrial mystery. Each discovery beneath the ice expands our scientific imagination, reminding us that the answers to some of the universe's greatest questions may first be found in the most remote corners of our own planet. The iceberg, A84's unveiling, gave us our first look beneath centuries of ice, revealing a world full of unexpected life and untold scientific wonders. This discovery changes how we understand life on Earth and guides the search for life across the solar system. If you found this fascinating, like and subscribe for more stories exploring the extraordinary frontiers of science and exploration.